Hi, welcome back to Mike's Diabetes World. Yes, I guess I'm blued today. Oh no! Excuse me. I want to keep having our little discussion about foods and what you need to eat. And lately there's been this big push. Oh, you don't need carbs. Just keep lowering your carbs. And your body doesn't need carbs to be a good diabetic. And if your doctor has ever told you this, you need to go find a different doctor. Okay, couple of thoughts. One, reducing your carbs is probably a awesome step for you to take. You don't want a great amount of carbs in your diet. Carbs in our society is quite a bit. And being type 1, you may need carbs for more quick sugar if you're having a low blood sugar. And I've always sort of liked, when I was having lunch, I would sometimes do more protein and would have like an orange. And, the one side I was looking said something about having like 13 grams of carbs in the morning and then 30 and 30 for the rest of the meals of the day. And I think we also have to take a look at is if you're a diabetic, everything is going super, then you need to stop and say, okay, maybe I don't need so much. But I don't suggest you go from one day of having a whole bunch and down to nothing. And I think an awful lot of these diabetic doctors think we have days to prepare all these meals and cook. Well, why don't you just cook one day and make a whole bunch of meals for the whole week? Well, in theory that sounds good, but you're tasting and you end up eating more. But carbs, now they're saying, even complex carbs are no good. And I think that's leaning quite a bit from a type 2 diet. For years, it was kind of like, well, no, you can't have fresh fruit. Fresh fruit because of the carbs. And that was a lifestyle that type 2s. And you should be having more proteins. Now, protein is going to make you stop feeling hungry. Carbs are just there to give you a boost of energy. Now, in your morning meal, you need a certain amount of carbs to get you up, get you going for the day. But that doesn't mean you need to have a piece of fruit for lunch. You need to have another carbohydrate like potato chips, and then you need to have 2 pieces of bread. And it doesn't sort of work that way. I kind of agree with having lower carbs, but I think they've determined that there are three elements that we need to run on. One being carbohydrate, one being protein, and one being fats. So, carbs, if you're having up and down issues, try limiting your carbs. If you eat more protein, you're not going to be as hungry. And if you start doing that, chances are you're going to lose weight, because in the middle of the afternoon, you're not going to have to, oh, I want my snack. Oh, I'll go for potato chips, or I'll do this, or I'll do that. But, over the years, I learned that carbohydrates were a great way to control, well, not to control, but to bring you up out of a low blood sugar. And unfortunately, they say, well, take 50 grams of carbs and wait half an hour and have 15 grams more of carbs and test in between. I'm sorry, when I start having low, things happen very quickly. So, I would suggest measuring out portions. Now, for me, testing, having 15 grams of carbs, wait 15 minutes, test again, doesn't work. But for someone who has had fairly good control, if you're a diabetic, I don't care if you're a type 2 or a type 1, but you're finding that you're peaking just after meals, well, maybe limit back on how much carbs you can have. Not that you can have, that you are eating. Now, in our lives, there's always been sandwiches. Oh my God, for lunch you have to have a sandwich. And pasta's carbs, and so things you can look at are crusted potato chips. I got my mind on potato chips. Crusted, pork chops or lamb chops. If you like the mint taste, go for, you can get them like a mint, I think they call it sauce, not mint jelly. But there's ways you can cut back on your carbs. If you're finding you're having lows for extended period of time, contact your doctor. But you may, for a while, need to increase some of your carbs. And I'm not talking going from, what did I say, for lunch, 30, up to 1,200 grams of carbs. But have a couple of extra grams of carbs and see how that helps. Maybe consult your dietitian. You need to learn how to grow. And a diabetic, you're going to learn many different ways of helping yourself. But don't let things you're going to get bombarded with a whole bunch of information. Talk it over with your doctor. Talk it over with your nurse or your dietitian about food. Like I said, lower carbs may be the way to go. But I can remember, this has nothing really to do with carbs, but kind of the same thought, that years ago, you had to limit your eggs. Up till then, I guess late 60s, early 70s, you could have, people were having 2 eggs a day, and you should maybe only have 1 egg a week. And now, eggs aren't such a big thing. So, philosophy has seemed to work. If you're trying to limit your weight, maybe cut back on your carbs. If you're having a lot of lows, before you go see your doctor, maybe bump it up a bit. If you're having a lot of highs, maybe turn it down. You're never going to have a carb-free diet, so don't try. It's just something more to think about. Have a great day. We'll talk to you later. Bye now.